Hello, high school basketball fans, and welcome to Division IV Regional Semifinal action. It's the show at the Stro. I'm Dave Bowen, and doing color with me this evening is Dar Nevergall, and we have the Lima Central Catholic Thunderbirds taking on the Old Fort Stockaders. Lima Central Catholic comes into tonight's game with a record of 24-2. Old Fort, a record of 21-5. Lima Central, coached by Sean Powell, and the Old Fort Stockaders, their head coach is Eric Hoover. How did they get here? Lima Central Catholic in the sectional, they defeated Ada 53-30, New Knoxville 55-39, in the district, New Bremen 65-50, and Marion Local 41-35 to get to the regional semi. For Old Fort, they defeated Macomb 73-42, New Regal 63-53 for a sectional championship, and in the district defeated Calvert 62-47 and Hopewell Loudon 67-56 to get to the regional semi. You see our brackets here at the Division IV level, and Berlin Highland has defeated Northside Christian 52-32 to advance. Pandora Gilboa fell to Toledo Christian 51-43, and we have the other games occurring at the same time as the Lima Central Catholic and Old Fort game. In the lower bracket, Richmond Heights and Russia both advance, both with lopsided victories in the 50-point range, and then Dalton and Warren JFK and Jackson Center and Troy Christian, they are going to be playing right now as well. Our tips to the game, sponsored by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac. Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer in the greater Lima area, serving Lima for over 100 years. We are proud to call this home. Dar Nevergall, great to have you side by side with me. Let's talk about the T-Birds.
Well, for LCC to win this game tonight, I think the biggest thing they need to do with this Old Fort team is pressure. And if they can put as much pressure on Old Fort, cause them to get out of the rhythm, get out of any kind of momentum they build, they have a good shot at this. And to do that, they're going to set the pace of this game. And if you've seen LCC play, the pace of their game is pretty much up and down the court as fast as they can get down there. So they want to do that. They also want to command the glass. They want to make sure that they can out-rebound this team. They're not going to give Old Fort second opportunity shots. Old Fort shoots a lot of three-pointers, so you want to push them away from there. So you want to command the glass and keep them out in the three-point range somewhere. So those are the keys for LCC.
You're right, Lima Central Catholic, just the two losses to St. John's 58-53 and to Spencerville 54-52. Those were back-to-back midseason losses. The T-Birds currently on a 13-game winning streak. The Old Fort Stockaders, under the direction of head coach Eric Hoover, what do they need to do tonight, Dar, to come away with a victory and advance to Friday night's championship game?
Well, they need to box out aggressively, and I mean really aggressively, to keep these T-Birds off the glass, and get some second opportunity shots, because they need to make sure that they get extra baskets in there, extra opportunities against this T-Birds. And they got to slow down the T-Bird offense, and that's not something anybody's really been able to do. Like you said, they've only got 2 losses in mid-season. Since that time, they reeled off 13 straight, and it's because of that up-tempo running game that they play. And the last thing for Old Fort is limit turnovers. And when I go back to the LCC and that pressure and stuff, that's a tough task to do. Now, they only average about 10 turnovers a game, the Stockaders do. So it's something they can do, but against this LCC pressure, it's always been tough for everybody.
In that district championship game, the Stockaders defeated Hopewell Loudon, a team that beat them twice during the regular season by scores of 62-56 and 38-36, a total of 8 points. They played a lot of zone defense, Dar, and that is one way to slow the T-Birds down a little bit, give that zone look. But the T-Birds have figured that out as they played against zones in the district against New Bremen and Marion Local. So again, a great opportunity for either team to advance offensively. LCC averages 57 points per game. They give up 44. Old Fort, they average 64 points per game. They give up 43. It's all set up for a great contest. We're at the Stroh Center on the campus of Bowling Green State University. You're watching it all on WOSN. We're here at the Bowling Green State University. It's Division IV Regional Semifinal action, the show at the Stro. And we want to mention our scoreboard sponsor, Ultimate Outdoor. Bring resort-style living to your backyard every day with a luxury outdoor space by Ultimate Outdoor. Automated pergolas, retractable walls and screens, outdoor furniture, and outdoor kitchens. And our instant replay tonight is brought to you by Binkley Real Estate. Binkley Real Estate has an effective sales approach, effective marketing campaigns, and extensive network that will give you results that move you. Our starting lineup tonight, first for the Lima Central Catholic T-Birds. They start 3 seniors. They have 3 players in double figures. Starting, it's number 0, Jordan Pretty, a 5'10" sophomore. Number 1, Willie Foster, a 5'8" sophomore. Carson Parker. Number 2, a 6'3" senior. Number 5, DeMar Foster, a 5'11" senior. And number 14, Billy Burke, a 6'6" senior. Again, your starters for LCC: Pretty, Willie Foster, Parker, DeMar Foster, and Burke. For the Old Fort Stockaders, again with a record of 21-5, their starters, 4 seniors and a junior. They have 4 players averaging double figures. Number 1, guard Connor Ernsberger, a 6' senior. Number 3, Isaiah Perez, a 5'10" senior. Number 12, Carter Dubois, a 6' senior. Number 15, Ryan Adelsberger, a 6'3" junior. And number 23, Carter Cleveland, a 6'3" senior. Again, for Old Fort, it's Ernsberger, Perez, Dubois, Adelsberger, and Cleveland. Leading scorers on both sides of the ledger. Jordan Pretty leads LCC at 15 points per game. And for Old Fort, it's Connor Ernsberger and Isaiah Perez, both at 14. Again, I'm Dave Bowen along with Dar Nevergall. Any final thoughts before we throw this one up?
Well, I think this is going to be a really good match. I mean, it depends on who gets out to the quickest start on this one, I think, to see how it goes. But I think it's going to be a lot of good defense on both sides of the ball. Both these teams only give up, under 45 points a game, both of them. So it shows what kind of defenses they can run. So I think it's going to come down to who gets out quickly, and who can hang on at the end. And one thing is once you get out quickly, you got to not let the other team off the hook. So you got to keep piling it on from that point on. So I think it's going to be a real good contest.
Our officials tonight are Jay Pappas, Jacob Walgate, and Zach Kinsey. Old Fort. Again, most of our viewing audience not real familiar with the Stockaders. They have made 212 threes on the season. LCC, on the other hand, 147 threes. So the Old Fort Stockaders, 64 points per game. They like to put it up. And what I witnessed in that district championship game, Dar, is they really like to play a 2-3 zone. It looks like a 1-2-2 as you're approaching it with the basketball. Then it falls back into a 2-3, somewhat of a stacked 2-3. And I think LCC, their bread and butter will be to attack it. If they try to analyze it, they might put themselves into paralysis by analysis. So I think they'll be aggressive against it. You had that as one of your keys to the game, and we're all but ready to throw this one up.
Oh, yeah. The LCC's definitely got to get to the boards, and they got to get to the glass as much as they can.
They do have somewhat of a height advantage with Billy Burke out there at 6'6". Angelo Collins coming off the bench at 6'5". And here we go. Burke gets the tip. DeMar Foster brings it across the timeline, and there's that zone from Old Fort.
Well, they're just daring LCC to shoot it from the outside, but like we said, if LCC can find that groove that they can get on the inside, they can really do some damage, but that's one way to break a zone.
Willie Foster with the 3, give the assist to his brother who penetrated against that zone. Willie Foster gets LCC on the board. There's a steal. Jordan Pretty misses the shot. Ernsberger with the rebound. Gives it up to Perez. He's going to bring it across the timeline. LCC in their patented man-to-man defense.
And you saw from the first 2 possessions by LCC, they're going outside with it.
There's a back cut. Hoop in the horn for Connor Ernsberger. Back cut on the backside, a good screen. You're going to see it here on the Binkley Real Estate replay. The screen action on the backside. Willie Foster comes over, gets up in the air, but makes contact. Ernsberger at the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line misses the free throw. LCC with the basketball.
Yeah, LCC can't allow that to happen too much. But Willie Foster was pretty much taken out of that play.
Nice block by Carter Cleveland on Willie Foster's penetration. Old Fort with a shot in the corner. Perez comes up with the miss. Burke with the board. DeMar Foster brings it across the timeline. LCC not really pushing the ball up on that miss. Old Fort able to set the D. Pretty with the shot. Doesn't get the bucket. Ernsberger, the leading rebounder at 7 per game, pulls it down for Old Fort.
Yeah, the tough thing with those long shots by LCC is they're not going to get second opportunities that way because, you know, it looks like Old Fort's going to get the long rebounds off of them.
Adelsberger
nice.
in there, nice pass. Miss, here comes Jordan Pretty with the basketball to DeMar Foster on the left wing. See if they look for Burke inside. Nope. Penetration. Jordan Pretty with the teardrop. He picks up his first field goal of the game. It makes our score 5 to T-Birds, 6 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was a nice shot by Pretty because he just drew the defense out on him thinking he was going to shoot the three.
Ernsberger with the miss off the pass from Perez. Foster with the rebound. He brings it across down to the paint, takes the shot, doesn't get it. Ernsberger again with another rebound in that zone defense, Dar. One and done for the T-Birds early on.
Yeah, both teams not getting, offensive rebounds, and that's one thing they're going to really have to pick up on.
Carter Cleveland from behind the college three-point line. The blue one is for high school. There's a nice pass. Pretty to Burke. Burke runs the floor. Pretty finds him. Give Pretty the assist. Burke the bucket. 7-2 T-Birds here in the early going. Good start for LCC.
Absolutely, and that's what I said about setting the pace, and that's kind of what they just did on that play.
Another long shot from behind the arc, but there's the offensive rebound. Isaiah Perez, give him the bucket.
One of the first offensive rebounds we've seen.
And there's an unforced turnover as Carson Parker and Willie Foster not on the same page.
That's LCC's first turnover, and I've got one turnover for Old Fort so far.
Isaiah Perez had 28 points in the district final against Hopewell Loudon. There's that same play that they scored at the beginning of the game. They do it again. That is not an unfamiliar play to LCC, but the back screen not communicating and getting the bucket at the baseline. There's a nice shot by Carson Parker. Up and down action. I love it.
Starting to speed it up a little bit, both teams. Oh, the quick hands of Willie Foster you saw on that one right there.
2-2-1 pressure presented by LCC. Now they'll back it off on the sideline out of bounds. Back into their man-to-man defense.
LCC likes to use Matthew Quatman out there to kind of meet the ball carrier coming down the court.
There's a nice block by Willie Foster on Ernsberger. Carson Parker down in the corner. Go inside to Burke. He kicks it to the other side. There's Willie Foster. Back to Burke. Give Burke the bucket as he finds himself open in the middle of the paint, and Willie Foster finds a nice teamwork there by the T-Birds.
Yeah, if the T-Birds can keep that up, Old Fort's going to be in deep trouble.
There's a miss. Transition time. Pretty to the rim. Good recovery by Carter Cleveland. Pretty was out of bounds and came back in, and that's a turnover. We see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay.
Yeah, his foot was on the line. He was out of bounds the whole way.
Give Isaiah Perez credit for hustling back because that looked like a live ball turnover for 2 from the get-go. Doesn't happen. Perez with the basketball.
Old Fort would like to get down in some kind of little running game, but they really haven't had the opportunity.
There's a 3-ball. Our 3-point sponsor, Simplified Flooring, doesn't go for Old Fort, but Pretty at the other end.
Look out.
His does. Jordan Pretty with the 3. Our 3-point sponsor, Simplified Flooring, today's Checkpoint sponsor, Simplified Flooring. We make flooring simple. 14-6.
5 points now for Purdy already in this first quarter.
Inside with the basketball was Carter Dubois. He did the spin move in there, comes away with a personal. They're going to put him on the free throw line.
Wow.
Carter Dubois going to the free throw line, our free throw sponsor, Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where home style happens here.
Dubois is a 70% free throw shooter. This is a very good free throw shooting team, this Old Fort team is.
Dubois makes the first one. That personal foul, did you catch who that was on, Dar?
I thought maybe they called him Billy Burke, but I'm not sure. They got it up there, and Billy Burke, nope, they got it on Quatman.
Quatman in the game, picks up his first personal foul. Carson Parker with the lob.
Oh, look out.
To Willie Foster. Gets behind the zone. Foster with the bucket. Parker with the dime. 16-8. 8-point lead for the T-Birds. And there's a steal. Here comes DeMar Foster. He's going to throw it up for Willie. They get a hand on it. Willie can't convert it. And Carter Cleveland was out of bounds when he touched the basketball. Here we see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Carson Parker
Perfect
with the
feed.
lob. Yep. Those two look like they played together a little
once
bit.
in a while. I think they've been around the block a couple times.
Jordan Pretty from three, doesn't come up with it. Carson Parker with the rebound. And I think that foul was on Carson Parker. Matthew Quatman has not been in the game yet, but the scoreboard is incorrect. So DeMar Foster brings it out top. 2 minutes to go.
Attempt to work it down.
No subs for either team thus far in the first quarter, but right there, Ryan Adelsberger gets a hand on it. It'll go out of bounds. You know, Coach Powell's in a situation where he's up 8. Does he want to pull Old Fort out of their base defense, this 2-3 zone? I don't think you want to do that right now because you don't want to slow your team down. Keep building on this lead. DeMar with the basketball out top.
Not as long as you're able to hit some threes out there over that zone.
There's DeMar Foster from 3. Undercooks that one. Carter Cleveland with the rebound. 3-point ball for Ryan Adelsberger doesn't go, but they get the loose ball.
Oh, my.
Ernsberger misses it. Billy Burke recovers it. Carson Parker with the basketball goes to DeMar. He's in the middle of the paint with the left hand. DeMar Foster picks up his first bucket, and Old Fort's going to call a timeout. We'll take one as well. Division 4 regional semifinal action, 18-8 LCC. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Dave Bowen, Dar Nevergall. Dar, Old Fort takes that timeout down 10.
Well, they needed to take that timeout. They're having a hard time right now keeping up with the intensity of this LCC offense. I mean, LCC, even when they're missing the shots, they're not missing by much. And they're getting the ball down there quickly, and they're not afraid to take a three-point shot and work it on the inside as well. So Old Fort's got to come up with something. You know, they need a basket here desperately for one thing, but they also got to come up with a way to slow this offensive T-Birds down.
Angelo Collins in the game now for Billy Burke. There's a steal. Here comes Carson Parker. He's going to get to the rim. He's going to score it. Carson Parker with his second field goal, and the T-Birds are on a 13-2 run to finish out the first quarter under a minute.
And a great job by Carson Palmer. You saw him, elevate himself up there and hang long enough to get past the defender.
Old Fort with the miss. Carson Parker Goes back to DeMar Foster. Foster has that look, but he's going to bring it out and set it up. And the T-Birds are going to look for the last shot of the quarter, and it looks like Old Fort's going to stay in the 2-3 zone. Sometimes you say you're holding the ball for the last turnover, but if the defense doesn't come out, down 12, going to give the T-Birds a chance to get the last look and take momentum into the quarter break.
It's given an opportunity for Coach Powell to give them some last-minute instructions, too.
Here we go, DeMar Foster with the action.
Now he's got to
go. Parker's going to have a long look. Parker's three from sponsored by Simplified Flooring does not go, and after one quarter in the books, LCC 20, Old Fort 8. You're watching regional semifinal basketball action, Division 4 style on WOSN. Welcome back to the show at the Stro. And our first quarter score, LCC 20, Old Fort 8. From the field, Old Fort 25%, LCC 60%. Dar, Old Fort gets the basketball first possession. It would behoove of them to get a bucket.
Well, they have to get a bucket. And then they got to get a stop right away, too. But the big thing for the Old Fort is, they started out, they were able to get to the foul line. They were able to get the ball on the inside. They haven't been able to do that since, Burke and those guys started to collapse down on that inside and take that away from them. But they need to find a way to get back in there again.
There's a three-pointer. Ryan Adelsberger, just what the doctor ordered. Our three-point sponsor, Simplified Flooring. We make flooring simple.
And that's that young man's first basket of the night, and he needs to be in the scoring column.
Yep, good medicine. Carson Parker from the corner, punch, counter punch, give the assist to Willie Foster. And the T-Birds, they are sharing the basketball tonight.
And Carson Palmer already has 7 points in this game, or Carson Parker has 7 points already.
Suffocating defense by the T-Birds, and that's going to be a held ball. And the arrow points LCC's way. We see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Put that ball down low.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Things aren't going to happen the way you want them to, and you're right, Dar.
Well, he really couldn't go up at the top with it either because he had no place to go up there either.
Yeah, double teamed by the T-Birds. Old Fort staying in the zone. Billy Burke back in the basketball game. Starting five for the T-Birds. No sub has entered the game for Old Fort at this point.
That's going to play a factor come the fourth quarter, too, if they don't do any substituting for Old Fort, because you're not going to be able to keep up with the intensity of this LCC team and the pace that they're running. They've decided to slow it down a little bit, find the best shot they can find inside now, see if they can work it in there.
Jordan Pretty with the look. Doesn't go. Ryan Adelsberger with the rebound. They have subbed one. I take that back. My mistake. Number 22, Blake Bender, is in the game. And there's a give and go, but the ball is caught up in the rim. That goes to the held ball arrow, and it's going to stay with Old Fort.
Well, I don't know, Dave. That's kind of an indication right there of what's been happening with Old Fort. I mean, they had a nice play there, able to get to the basket, and they stick it up in the side of the rim.
Old Fort again, 21-5 coming into today's game, 15-3 in the Sandusky Bay Conference River Division, good for second place.
Again,
Adelsberger's shot doesn't go.
Not getting any second shots.
Carson Parker with the step back three. It's short. One and done for the T-Birds. Here comes Ernsberger. Gives it to Perez. He looks to attack the basket. Goes with the left hand. Doesn't go. But Connor Ernsberger with another rebound. Give him the bucket. And there's a steal by Perez. He's going to pull from three.
Oh.
In and out. DeMar Foster with the rebound. Brings it the other way. Willie Foster.
That was an interesting shot from three-point range. He didn't wait for anybody to come back.
There's Quatman in the game now for LCC. Billy Burke with the offensive rebound, and he scores it. Billy Burke with his 6th point of the game. 25-13.
Advantage still 12 points for LCC.
And there's a travel on Connor Ernsberger. We can see Old Fort, Perez and Ernsberger, they work well together. It's just you're going to need to bring more than just two guys against this LCC T-Bird squad.
Well, you saw what the T-Birds did on that one right there. I mean, they got the ball into him, and three guys for LCC converged at that moment on him. So he had nowhere to go from that point on, and it kind of frustrated him enough to get the turnover.
Old Fort shows that 1-2-2 half-court pressure right there, looking to extend the defense a little bit. Coach Powell saying to ball fake and look for a teammate. Ball deflected out of bounds.
Quatman there to get his hand out of the way because he saw the guy deflect it.
Great point. Quatman in the game now. Angelo Collins back in the game as well for the T-Birds. So here's the stack 2-3 look from Old Fort. Screening the backside, going to give Jordan Pretty a wide open look from three land, doesn't score, but there's Carson Parker. Isaiah Perez deflects it out of bounds. Again, our three-point sponsor tonight, Simplified Flooring. They make flooring simple. We're going to have a timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. You're watching high school basketball on WOSN. Tonight's timeouts again are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. Coach Powell with that timeout, Dar. What's the message?
Well, the message basically is, get back to what we were doing because I think they got a little bit out of it there. They had a couple open look threes, but I really think he wants to get it on the inside to Billy Burke a little bit more, get it to the big guys underneath and score that way.
There you go. You called it. Goes into Billy Burke. On the pass from Jordan Purdy, he draws contact. We see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay. And good up fake. And then you got to give Old Fort a little bit of credit right there. Blake Bender was going to make sure he didn't get a shot off for an old-fashioned three-point play opportunity. But Billy Burke at the free throw line where he is the leading free throw shooter for LCC at 80%.
Yeah, 20 for 25 coming into this game. Outstanding for the big guy.
Outstanding. The only thing I would say that's a surprise there is that he's only shot 25 free throws for the whole season.
But he plays a lot out front, too.
He does.
More than he plays underneath.
Yep, and he's very unselfish with the basketball. He finds open teammates. Ernsberger with the penetration. And there's a block by Carson Parker. Ottersberger gets it back, and he scores it the second time. Ryan Ottersberger with his first two-pointer. He's got a three in this game as well. Jordan Pretty from the corner doesn't go. Billy Burke, yeoman's work on the board. Goes back to Pretty, and he scores it. Another assist for LCC, however, as Billy Burke give him the dime on that one. Old Fort with the basketball. That's Ryan Ottersberger. Spin at the free throw line. Finds Perez. Isaiah Perez looks to penetrate. Nothing there. DeMar Foster guarding him.
Well, we talked about Old Fort not substituting, but I'll tell you what, they're working really hard out there. But every time they seem to make a run of any kind or get a basket, LCC comes right back and counters.
Blake Bender with the left hand from behind the arc doesn't go. Willie Foster with the rebound. LCC in transition. Foster probing, swings it. Parker back to Foster, and he was thinking Billy Burke on the backside, but Billy was cutting to the ball. Turnover on the T-Birds.
Yeah, but just a third turnover. As fast as LCC's been playing, that's only their third turnover of this game. Six turnovers for Old Fort.
Right at 3 minutes in the second quarter, 29-15 in favor of the T-Birds on the Ultimate Outdoor scoreboard. Old Fort with the back cut. There's a nice play. Carter Dubois with the assist. Connor Ernsberger with the bucket.
6 points now for Ernsberger.
Willie Foster with the penetration. They're going to call the offensive charge. We see it here on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Ernsberger sets up and takes the shoulder right in the chest. He's slow getting up, Dar.
Yeah, he took quite a shot there.
And he's going to stay in the game. Get the floor cleaned up down there. So with 2:44, Coach Hoover would really like to see his team go on a little bit of a run here. Coach Hoover, an overall record of 231-58. Coach Powell, he's 92-58 overall. First year LCC, last 2 years at Bath, and prior to that at Botkins, where he was a state champion. So he knows how to navigate long tournament runs, and he's got his T-Birds poised to continue to do that tonight with a 12-point lead with 2:41 in quarter number 2.
And LCC going to slow it back down again. Set that a half-court offense. Try to get the ball on the inside where they can get a basket there if they can.
Flare screen set by Pretty for DeMar Foster. Pretty with the ball out top. Quatman on the left wing. Billy Burke posting up.
DeMar Foster having a great season this year for LCC.
Great season after the last 2 years unable to play because of a knee injury. Missed shot by Parker, but a turnover on Old Fort. Foster again setting the offense. Yeah, you want to play transition basketball, but you have to be able to execute in the half court, and that's what LCC is working on right now. Really looking at that backside block. There's a wide open look for Pretty. Doesn't go. Ernsberger with another rebound.
And Purdy's going a little bit cold from out long distance.
That one looked good from here, but it doesn't go for Carter Dubois. Jordan Pretty coast to coast. Doesn't go. Perez with the rebound. Nobody back for the T-Birds. And Carter Dubois picks up his first field goal of the game. Tough one right there if you're a T-Bird fan. Cuts the lead to 10.
Yeah, you got to get back on defense. You got to get at least one person trailing back there.
Quatman into Billy Burke. Looks to go middle. Finds DeMar Foster. That's a Binkley Real Estate 3 for DeMar Foster. Give the assist to Billy Burke.
And that's what you're talking about, Billy Burke. I mean, unselfish player. He was driving for the basket, saw DeMar Foster out there and flipped it out to him.
They try to counter it, does Old Fort, but they undercook it. Carter Dubois, here comes the T-Birds in transition. Doesn't go as Pretty had the shot in the corner. And there's Matthew Quatman fighting for the rebound. We see it on the replay. Regional action, you got to earn it, learn it, and love it. And right there, Matthew Quatman, grit and determination. LCC maintains possession on the held ball tie.
And right now the T-Birds, 19 rebounds to 13 for Old Fort. For a while there, the T-Birds had a bigger margin than that, so Old Fort's fought back a little bit when it comes to the rebounding, but still, LCC with 20 rebounds.
LCC with the basketball. They're shooting 26% behind the arc. Old Fort just 11%. As we said at the opening of the game tonight, Old Fort with 212 threes on the season. It's part of their offense. Unfortunately, it's not going down for them here in the first half. Under 15 seconds. Willie Foster with the basketball on the right side. Going to get things in motion. Billy Burke setting a screen up high. Old Fort adjusting. Willie Foster with the penetration. He's going to draw contact, and he's going to go to the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where home style happens here. Nice replay there, seeing Willie Foster able to penetrate the seams, the gaps in that zone, and draw contact. Misses that first free throw.
Well, Willie shoots about 51% from the free throw line, so he's usually 1 for 2 every time he goes to the line, it seems like.
So he should put this one through the cotton. We'll see what happens. Nope, that one's short as well, but Carson Parker with the rebound, and it counts. Parker. We see it here on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Short Carson Parker, the heady player that he is, sticks it back. Halftime, Lima Central Catholic 34, Old Fort 19. You're watching the show at the Stro on WOSN. Welcome back to the campus of Bowling Green State University, the Stro Center, where it's halftime Division IV style regional semifinal. Lima Central Catholic 34, Old Fort 19. I'm Dave Bowen along with Dar Nevergall, and we want to look at our halftime adjustments. Our halftime adjustments are sponsored by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac. Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer in the greater Lima area, serving Lima for over 100 years. We are proud to call this home. Dar, let's start with the T-Birds. What does Coach Powell need to be thinking about, and what is he talking to his team about here at halftime?
Well, I think for LCC, it's pretty much what they did in the second quarter. They kind of got back to working the ball on the inside. They got to continue to do that. They got some big guys under there in Billy Burke and Carson Parker, and they got to take advantage of that. You know, working on the inside. They've missed some three-point shots. They are shooting 26% from three, but really they need to get the inside baskets against this Old Fort team. Old Fort doesn't go deep on their bench, so if you can get guys in foul trouble, which they haven't been able to even get fouls on this team yet, you know, that's going to be a big advantage for LCC.
And another way I think they can do that, Dar, is continue to hit the offensive glass. The T-Birds only have one offensive rebound here in the first half, although they are out rebounding Old Fort, and they got to contest the three ball, and that leads us to Old Fort. What adjustments and what do you think Coach Hoover's talking to his team about?
Well, I think he's talking about, you know, okay, you're getting some open three looks. You got to put them down, guys. I mean, you're a team that shot almost 500 three-pointers for the season, and you only hit one in the first half. This LCC team is going to let you shoot out there on those three-point shots until you start making them. So, you know, they're going to clog up the middle. They're going to take away that inside game on you. You've got to put down a couple of three-pointers, you know, in order to open that up a little bit so we can get back inside there. Otherwise, we're in for a long night if we can't do that.
I agree, Dar. I think it is psychology 101 in that Old Fort locker room. Gentlemen, we got to keep shooting the three because that's who we are. That's what we've done all season. They'll start falling. Our halftime adjustments have been brought to you again by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac. We'll be back with second half action. You're watching Division IV Regional Semifinal action on WOSN. It's third quarter action here at the Stro, and our scoreboard sponsor tonight is Ultimate Outdoor. Bring resort-style living to your backyard every day with a luxury outdoor space by Ultimate Outdoor. Automated pergolas, retractable walls and screens, outdoor furniture, and outdoor kitchens. Our leading scorers in the first half, Carson Parker with 9 for the T-Birds, and Connor Ernsberger with 8 for Old Fort. Old Fort will start with the basketball here to begin the third quarter, and a nice little run here at the beginning of the third. The first 4 minutes critical for the Stockaders.
Absolutely, and I hate to say it, but this first possession is critical for them too to get some kind of rhythm going and some kind of momentum built.
Right there is Isaiah Perez attacking the rim, doesn't get it, but it's an offensive board, and it's a steal. Willie Foster with the steal. Here he comes. He gets all the way. Willie Foster, coast to coast to the glass. And LCC scores first here in the third quarter. They're up 36-19.
And I don't know if they know how to stop Willie Foster's little sidestep that he does.
On the replay, we see Perez going to Ernsberger. Again, we saw it in the first half. Those two work well together. Ernsberger draws the contact, and he's going to go to the Lee's famous recipe chicken free throw line where home style happens here.
He's a 71% free throw shooter on the season, and you know he was 0 for 1 in that first half, but this is a kid that you don't want to go to the free throw line too often.
And Old Fort wants to score with the clock stopped. They're able to do that here early in the third quarter as Ernsberger picks up the first free throw and toes and throws. The second one's good from the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. Here's that 1-2-2 look, and there is Perez with the steal. Goes to his teammate, and Adelsberger unable to get it. Parker to Foster. They missed that one. That would have brought the LCC contingent to their feet. Old Fort, again, right on the verge of being in a situation where it's just going to be too tough to come back. They've got to have some quality possessions. Coach Hoover calling out instruction. Perez blocked by Willie Foster. Carter Cleveland gets the basketball.
That's that quickness of the LCC defense.
Ernsberger gets to the bucket and finger rolls it over the top of the rim for the bucket. 36-23, down to 13. A 1-3-1 look now. Half-court trap by Old Fort. Billy Burke on the sideline, back out to DeMar Foster, and Old Fort peels back. Carson Parker had a good look, said we can get a better one. Goes into Burke. Burke kicks it out to Willie Foster. Jordan Pretty. And Jordan Pretty just struggling a little bit. He's guiding the ball. He's sort of aiming it like a pitcher. He's got to get relaxed and find that rim, get himself maybe to the rim, get an easy bucket. Struggling with the confidence here a little bit, Dar.
No, well, he is, and he's getting open looks, and I think that's kind of throwing him off a little bit. He's used to being contested out there, and he's not being contested, so he's coming up short on his shot. So, yeah, he's got to get a little more comfortable.
Isaiah Perez with the basketball for Old Fort. He tries to find the middle of the floor, and he does. He takes one too many steps. The LCC crowd saw that as clear as day, and so did the official.
That's 9 turnovers now for Old Fort, 2 here in the second half. And again, Old Fort shooting themselves in the foot when they try to get something going. It looks like they're going to be able to get something going. You know, they've had a couple nice plays. They've taken a couple nice turnovers away from, LCC, but they just haven't been able to capitalize on them.
Coach Powell letting DeMar Foster know, I want you to be looking to the middle. Be strong with the basketball. There's Pretty, finds Billy Burke on the baseline.
That's what they got to do.
Yep, another assist. Burke with the bucket. Pretty with the assist.
10 points now for Billy Burke.
Old Fort with the ball out on the perimeter, and just a lot of red shirts there, making it tough on them. There's another deflection. Willie Foster and Billy Burke hustle over to help up teammate DeMar Foster. Old Fort will maintain possession.
That's got to be a little demoralizing if you're Old Fort, too, because that looked like a really nice opening right there, a quick pass on the inside, and it gets deflected away. That's just the quickness that the LCC has.
Yeah, Dar, you're right. What appeared to be ended up not. And there's a deflection. Carson Parker with the steal, looking to go coast to coast. And there is a foul by Ryan Adelsberger, and we see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Comes across, tries to get ball, but he gets arm as well. That's going to send Carson Parker to our Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. Parker, a 75% free throw shooter, second on this T-Bird squad in that category.
Carson Parker, Ohio Dominican commit for football to play the quarterback position for Ohio Dominican.
Second one's up, and it is good for Carson Parker at the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. 17-point lead now for LCC. Ernsberger with the basketball. Again, almost deflected, and there's going to be a foul. I think that's going to go on number 2, Carson Parker, as we see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Gets his hand in there, caught in the cookie jar.
Yep. Got a little bit too much of the arm.
It's on the floor.
Again, frustration for Old Fort because they just cannot seem to be able to get past this is LCC defense.
I believe that's Carson Parker's second foul of the game. Good sticky man-to-man defense by the T-Birds. There's a shot from deep, and it is good from Carter Dubois. Dubois from the Simplified Flooring three-point line. Simplified Flooring, we make flooring simple.
That's 7 points now for that young man and his first three-pointer.
There's a steal. We're going the other way.
Look out.
And there's a bucket. So we go from 17 to 12, just like that, as Carter Dubois on a 5-point run of his own. LCC got to take care of the basketball. None better than Carson Parker. Doesn't get the bucket, but there's Pretty with the rebound. He goes up and misses it. Parker gets back in there, and he just simply took that basketball away. He wanted it more, and he finishes at the rim. Perez with the three. It doesn't go. Parker with the basketball.
That's 13 points now for Parker.
Pretty attacking the rim, draws contact. No call, but he makes the bucket. Jordan Pretty. That's his 8th and 9th point of the game.
Again, this one he took right to the basket instead.
And there's a turnover on Old Fort. Hedge on the screen by the T-Birds, and we're going to have some substitutes. Angelo Collins back in the game. Matthew Quatman in the game now for LCC. Along with DeMar Foster, Carson Parker, and Jordan Pretty. The 1-3-1 half-court trap. There's the trap area. DeMar's able to dribble through it, gets to the elbow, looks for Angelo Collins. Right idea, just not able to get on the same page. Turnover against the T-Birds.
And that may have been one of those episodes where he got a little bit too unselfish on that one. He could have taken it right to the rack.
Coach Hoover, he's going to take a timeout with 2:52 to go in the third quarter. LCC 44, Old Fort 28 on the Ultimate Outdoor Scoreboard. You're watching regional semifinal action on WOSN. Old Fort with the basketball here with 2:50 to go in the third quarter. The longest run, it's been tough sledding for Old Fort. The longest run has been a 5-0 run by Carter Dubois. But there's a nice cut. Yes, good play as Ryan Adelsberger picks up the field goal, give the assist to Carter Dubois.
And that's Ryan's first basket of the second half, 7 points on the night.
There's the trap action, and Coach Powell, he's going to take the timeout as we see DeMar Foster dribble into the trap zone right across half court. Coach Powell bails him out a little bit right here, and we'll stay right here during this timeout, the Metzger Financial timeout. They're our timeout sponsor, Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067. or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. So Coach Powell, he's got the whiteboard out over there. I think he's going over what they have worked on in practice, how to dissect that 1-2-2 half-court trap. Where do you think he wants to get the ball to?
Well, one thing he wants to do is make sure that you don't get yourself trapped over on the sideline. I mean, and you could see that Old Fort kind of pushed him that way, kind of directed him towards the sideline.
Yep.
And that's what, Coach Powell's probably telling him over there. You can't get yourself trapped over there because then they're going to double team you, and you have no place to go.
Yeah. They fall back, does Old Fort, into their 2-3. But against that 1-2-2, you want to try and find the middle of the floor. And Jordan Pretty has been effective in that area in recent games. Look for them to attack it that way in the future. Right now, LCC can be patient as Billy Burke with the ball in the middle of the floor. Willie Foster stops on a dime, pulls it back out. Old Fort tried to take a charge in the fashion of Ryan Adelsberger, unable to do so.
Yeah, one thing we got to watch though is Jordan Purdy. Hopefully he doesn't get a little complacent and a little worried out there from that three-point range, since he's been a little bit off one there. He's got to continue to shoot it though for this T-Bird team. He is their leading three-point shooter.
There's DeMar Foster allowing himself to be trapped, and he's going to take a timeout. So it's not 1:27 left in the fourth quarter. It's 1:27 left in the third quarter. It's a Metzger Financial timeout. We'll take one as well. It's tournament basketball on WOSN. LCC takes that timeout, up 44-30 with 1:27 left in the third quarter. Old Fort Dar, they attacked DeMar Foster when he had the basketball there at the half-court line. Situation now where I think Coach Powell's probably saying, okay, let's go and attack and let's get a bucket here.
Yeah, we have to. We have to get back to what we do best. And we can't play around with the basketball out there, and I can't afford to give up timeouts.
Yeah. They look down to the baseline, kick it back out. DeMar Foster with the basketball now. Burke with it. There's the back cut. Carson Parker unable to come up with it, but the fortuitous bounce goes off of Carter Cleveland. LCC will maintain possession.
Yeah, big break for LCC on that one right there. But you saw, Foster when he had it out front there, he immediately went to the middle as quick as he could get there.
Another deflection.
Ford doing a nice job ramping up their defense.
Yeah, and with this zone being their base defense, they know and they've practiced situations where, okay, if we're behind, Hoyle says that you go to man, but they've got some trapping areas and some slides that they can incorporate in there to attack when down on the scoreboard. Right there, Billy Burke, it looked like he had an uncontested power shot. Old Fort recovers and forces the turnover.
Yeah, good job by the Stockaders. Get over there and just kind of wall off the basket on Billy Burke, and he turned around, thought he had a guy behind there, they could flip the ball over to, and threw it out of bounds. Under
a minute here, big possession, but there's the steal. Felt like momentum was changing. If the T-Birds score here, that'll stop the momentum, and Carson Parker is fouled. He's going to go to the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line.
Carson knew that he had an opportunity there to, if he wasn't going to put that ball in the basket, he knew he was going to get fouled. He took it hard to the rack and just waited for the Old Fort defender to catch up with him.
Carson Parker, the 6'3" senior, as an adversary from a school that the T-Birds are going to be in the conference with next year. Seems like Carson Parker has been around forever. And wish him good luck at Ohio Dominican. Comes up empty on both free throws, claps his hands, not happy with himself there. Old Fort still with a chance to cut into this 14-point lead with 35 seconds to go.
Well, Old Fort's just taken over on the rebounding too. The LCC hasn't been able to get too many rebounds.
Connor Ernsberger with the shot inside. Billy Burke with the block. Billy Burke going to Adrian College to play football and baseball. Maximum role player, Billy Burke, gives his team the basketball to finish out the third quarter. DeMar Foster back to Carson Parker. Time to run the set at 8 seconds. 5 seconds at half court.
Got to go now, guys.
The coaching staff, yeah. And the T-Birds come up empty. Not real pleased is the coaching staff right there at the end of the quarter with the execution. But overall, the T-Birds, after 3 at the Stro, they lead Old Fort in this Division IV regional semifinal game, 44-30. You're watching it on WOSN. We'd like to thank our scoreboard sponsor, Ultimate Outdoor. Bring resort-style living to your backyard every day with a luxury outdoor space by Ultimate Outdoor. Automated pergolas, retractable walls and screens, outdoor furniture, and outdoor kitchens. DAR, 44-30. LCC slowed down the pace, and as a result, we have a situation where in that quarter.
They lost that quarter 11-10 to the Stockaders. And you know, they got away from what they were like. Now they're still playing hard underneath the basket, but they need Jordan Purdy to go back out there and fire up a couple of threes. He's got to not worry about, you know, what he had in the first half, in the third quarter. But
there's a steal. Perez, he finishes it, cuts the lead to 12. Here come the Stockaders. There's a nice pass from Priddy to Billy Burke. Give Burke the bucket. Again, another fine assist for LCC. They have shared the ball exceptionally well tonight.
Yeah, that's the second basket here in the second half for Billy Burke.
There's a deflection by Carson Parker.
LCC got a little complacent, like we said, with the basketball too. They've got now, you know, I've got 11 turnovers for them, just 12 for Old Fort. But for a while there, LCC was taking really good care of the basketball. They haven't done that in the second half.
You're right, 5 turnovers the whole first half, 6 thus far in the second. Deflection there. Old Fort will maintain possession.
You don't want to give these Stockaders that confidence, and that's what's happening right now. They're getting a little bit confidence, and that isn't going to hurt them one bit right there.
Nice under out of bounds set as Isaiah Perez picks up the field goal. LCC in transition. Willie Foster with the miss. Jordan Priddy, offensive rebound miss. Off the block shot, and here comes Old Fort, a chance to cut it to 10. And we have a whistle. And
the injured player.
Yes. I believe that is Isaiah Perez trying to walk it off here. They're going to have to bring in a sub, and that sub is going to be Carter Cleveland.
Yeah.
So the only sub here the second half for Old Fort, Blake Bender came in the game for Carter Cleveland. Now he's back in for Isaiah Perez. That's a big storyline for the Stockaders right now.
Yeah, you saw Perez. He came up limping after that shot of his.
Connor Ernstberger takes it hard to the hole and scores. Old Fort, closest they've been in some time. There is a nice and one by Jordan Priddy. Hoop and the harm as we see it on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Takes the contact and goes through it, Darnevergall.
That's what Jordan is good at. You know, he's a strong kid. Took it right to the rack on that one there, you know, and finished it off. And let's see if he can knock down this free throw. He's a 70% free throw shooter, so if he can knock this one down, that'd give him a little more breathing room.
Little breathing room and stop the run by Old Fort. Get momentum back on the side of the Carolina blue and red. Now DeMar Foster's coming off the floor.
I know, a little gingerly.
Yeah.
It looks like. Is he tired, or if he's
well,
really
he's going to go down
something?
to the end of the bench. Have to keep an eye on that. Isaiah Perez back in the game, and yes, the trainer is taking a look at DeMar. It seems to be maybe his back or his left. It might be that left knee. Let's hope not. Isaiah Perez with the basketball. Goes to Connor Ernstberger. Nice back cut there, up fake. Carson Parker, I think he got a foot on that one, but nice job there being Johnny on the spot as Old Fort scores. Jordan Priddy with the shot and the miss. Goes back up. We're going to have a foul before the shot. We see the action fast and furious here in the fourth quarter. Right there on that loose ball, Jordan Priddy wants it more. Draws contact before he goes up with the shot. It's going to be out of bounds for the T-Birds.
Yeah, he had some quick hands to get that ball out of there because there's two Old Fort defenders right there that could have grabbed it. Either one of them could have grabbed it.
Nice play as Billy Burke posts up inside, unable to score it. And the rebound comes down to Carter Dubois. Perez. Ernstberger gets into the paint. Stops, misses it, loose ball again. And I know the LCC fans aren't happy with that, but I think that's a pretty good call as Willie Foster's out of bounds. But he's out of bounds right there, and then he touches it.
Yep.
Great job by the officiating crew. Old Fort gets the ball in. They look for the lob, nothing there. There's a shot by Adelsberger, doesn't go. Willie Foster with the rebound. Billy Burke showing good sportsmanship, helping Blake Bender up. Attacking the rim is Jordan Pretty. He loses it down there. Good hands by Ofor. Perez. And Willie Foster recovered. Perez tried to up-fake him, and then he slips a little bit and called for the travel right there. That is a really good call, and then Willie Foster did get a hand on the basketball as well after the travel.
Old Fort right now having a problem inside, and give credit to Billy Burke for that, because he is just playing some outstanding inside defense on these Old Fort Stockaders.
Jordan Pretty, there's a three. The simplified flooring three-point shot from Jordan Pretty, his second of the game.
That's all he needed, was somebody to contest it.
Yeah. Remember coaching a player like that, if he was guarded, we knew he would make it. If he was wide open, we knew it was probably not going to go in. There's Perez with an air ball. Here comes the T-Birds. Attacking the rim, Willie Foster with the bucket. If you're Coach Hoover, I think you got to think about a timeout here. You got three, and he is going to use one. 4:39 to go in the fourth quarter. Lima Central Catholic, 54, Old Fort, 38. You're watching high school basketball on WOSN. Tonight's timeouts are brought to you by Metzger Financial Services, helping you plan your financial future. Call 419-225-6067 or visit MetzgerFinancialServices.com. The T-Birds on an 8-2 run to push this lead back up to 16 points, Darnevergall.
Well, and they needed to do that. I mean, they were getting a little bit, out of sync a little bit, and Old Fort was taking advantage of it. They ramped up their defense against these T-Birds. They were able to get some turnovers. They were able to get some baskets. But when it came to push, came to shove, they put it back out there in the hands of your guards out there for LCC, and they take over from that point on. Great play by Purdy, and he finally hit another three-pointer, and that really is going to give that young man some confidence.
The end of the third quarter, LCC really slowed the game down, and it worked against them, as we see a nice three-pointer there by Blake Bender, the Binkley Real Estate three. And I think at the quarter break, Coach Powell said, we got to do what we do, and they've been attacking ever since.
And that's just the seventh three-pointer for Blake Bender this season.
Billy Burke to Quatman into the corner. He's feeling it now, is one Jordan Pretty assist. Matthew Quatman back to a 16-point lead.
Well, Purdy's a 39% three-point shooter, came into this with 132 threes. So.
Willie Foster with the steal and the contact. Connor Ernsberger with the foul, and he shows some good sportsmanship. Willie Foster was going to boom shakalaka this one.
Yes, he was.
Ernsberger, not a dirty foul at all. He's up there around the basketball. And Willie Foster going to go to the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken free throw line. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Willie comes up empty on the first one.
0 for 3 so far tonight at the foul line, a 51% free throw shooter. See if he can knock down the second one.
Trying to make adjustments, and he's thinking about it too much. Got to work on that in practice now. Carter Dubois with the basketball. Kicks it out after getting it in there. Connor Ernsberger from distance. Does not find it. Here comes Willie Foster again. Ernsberger on him again. Nice jump stop, Euro step for Willie Foster, giving the bucket.
That was a good save by the Old Fort on that one there, but one of those that you really don't want to throw it that far down the court. Just gives the other team an opportunity.
And that ball's deflected out of bounds by Willie Foster.
Ernsberger having a nice night, though. He's got 16 points and 7 rebounds so far.
Angelo Collins back in the game. Billy Burke going to take a quick seat.
The flip side, Purdy has 16 points now, and Parker has 15.
There's a three-pointer by one Ryan Adelsberger. Doesn't go. Carson Parker brings it down. Mr. Steady Eddie. Steadying influence for this squad. When they're in big-time situations, when he has the basketball, everything just seems to slow down in a positive way for the T-Birds. And there's a foul out front. It'll be sideline out of bounds. 4 fouls on Old Fort here with 2:53 remaining in quarter number 4. So the T-Birds will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. On the other side of the ledger, the T-Birds have not committed a foul in the fourth quarter.
No, they've been very, very effective when it comes to that. They, very efficient. Even though they've been banging around a lot underneath the basket, they've not fouled.
Angelo Collins to Jordan Purdy. Another assist in the books for the T-Birds. Give that one to Collins. Purdy with the bucket. Penetration there doesn't go for Ryan Adelsberger. And Carson Parker going to bring it across the timeline. Matthew Quatman. Willie Foster.
Slow it down now.
Now you do it, and the T-Birds can smell Friday night. They will be playing in the regional championship game against Toledo Christian. Angelo Collins with the miss, and Jordan Purdy cleans it up.
18 points now for Jordan Purdy.
He struggled a little bit in the middle quarters, but he's got it going now. Willie Foster with the steal. And again, knocked away by Ryan Adelsberger. We see it here on the Binkley Real Estate replay. Nice job by Willie Foster going to the basket, and I gotta compliment Ryan Adelsberger for definitely just going for the basketball. We don't want anybody getting hurt here on a breakaway.
No.
And again, good sportsmanship. Got the ball up high, make Willie Foster earn him from the free throw line.
There he is.
Wholesale substitutions for Old Fort.
Good season by the Stockaders, though. They'll finish 21-6 on the year.
Griffin Miller in the game. Grant Havens in the game. Brock Miller. Brock Davis. And Tyson Frisch. LCC starting to rotate players in. Carson Parker going out in the game. Malachi Talbert in the game. Aaron Hutchins. Billy Burke, Willie Foster still in the game as Foster picks up the second free throw. Parker Judy in the game for LCC as well.
Willie Foster, that's 13 points for him tonight.
From the corner, that's Brock Miller with the three, comes up empty. Griffin Miller with the rebound. Tyson Frisch out front.
Now an opportunity for these guys to get them off the bench and get some playing time in.
Yep, what an opportunity to play at the Stro.
I'll look for Billy Burke to be coming out pretty soon for LCC as well.
And Willie Foster with the basketball. And Hutchins kicks it back out to Foster. We got two players at the table for LCC looking to get into the game. Don't know if Coach Powell called timeout or if we're just going to let it play out. Willie Foster with the basketball. And he does call a timeout. Oh, no, he stepped on the line. Unfortunately, yes. Aaron Hutchins made the basket. We'll give it a replay. It was a good look. But before he let go of it, he had stepped on the out-of-bounds line. So Burke and Willie Foster go out of the game, and in the game now for the T-Birds.
I don't think it was intentional by Hutchins to step on the line, but it gave him an opportunity to get Billy Burke and Willie Foster out of the line.
We have number 21 in. I'm sorry, folks, we don't have him on the roster.
A three-pointer by Grant Havens there.
Good bucket by Havens. I'm going to look elsewhere. 21 is Brevin Stolley. Doing my crack research here. And we also have number 35, Andrew Baldoff in the game. So I think we got everybody listening with 10 seconds to go. And the T-Birds, they're in the Elite Eight with a shot to play at the University of Dayton Friday night. Right back here at the Stro, 7 p.m. Friday night. Your final score, Lima Central Catholic 65, Old Fort 44 on the Ultimate Outdoor Scoreboard. We'll be back with our post-game show here on WOSN. Welcome back to Bowling Green State University and the Stroh Center, where tonight in regional semifinal action, Lima Central Catholic advances to the regional championship game with a 65-44 victory over the Old Fort Stockaders. Our score by quarters, it was 20-8 LCC after one, 34-19 at halftime as LCC outscored Old Fort 14-11. The third quarter, a different story. LCC is up 44-30 after three, but they lost the third quarter 11-10. They reestablished in the fourth quarter with a 21-14 quarter to win this thing, going away 65-44. With the win, LCC improves to 25-2, and they will come back Friday night in a regional championship game to play Toledo Christian. You look at the bracket, Berlin Highland advances, as does South Webster. That'll be the other regional final, which the winner of Toledo Christian and Lima Central Catholic will play at the University of Dayton. In the lower bracket, it's Richmond Heights versus Warren JFK, and Russia taking on Troy Christian. Dar Nevergall, we need to go to our Stolly Hustle Award winner tonight. Check out highlights of tonight's Stolly Hustle Award winner on the WOSN YouTube page. Who are we going to go with?
Well, I think we'll go with Jordan Purdy. I mean, the young man, came back. He kind of righted this ship a little bit. He hit a couple of threes starting out. Then he got a little cold there for a while there. Got away from it a little bit. Got a little hesitant shooting the three and stuff. Came back, though, strong in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter. And not only at the three-point line, but he also took it to the basket as well. And that's what you want to see from the young man. Only a sophomore, put it all together there, there in that second half for this LCC team and kind of led them to this win.
Jordan Purdy finishes the night with 21 points, I believe. 21 points. And you're right, we talked about during the game at one point, we made the analogy to the baseball pitcher who's aiming. He needed to get himself to the basket and score a couple easy ones. The one that he scored, he got fouled on. That doesn't make it easy, but he finished, and that got his confidence going. Couldn't agree with you more, Dar. A great game by Jordan Purdy, a great game by the team of LCC, as we talked about. Several players giving up good for great, getting an assist for a teammate, getting a clean look. And with that, they continue tournament action as they will play Friday night against Toledo Christian. Right here, it'll be the regional championship, the show for the Stro, from the Stro to go to the University of Dayton. We want to thank our director, Ken Riker, our camera people, Curtis Aldrich and Abby Beck, and from BGSU, Jamie Behringer. And for Dar Nevergall, I'm Dave Bowen. Regional tournament action. We don't have another game. That's just the way it works. But until next time, may all of your jumpers hit nothing but the bottom of the net. It's been a pleasure. So long, everybody.